Hello, Exeter, and today I have Ken Mendis.
Car, so and then after that I bent over.
The man behind Racial Unity Team.
Yes, that's me.
That is you. All right, welcome to the show. I'm looking forward to this because we've always had small talk after events, and it's always been fun talking to you. And we're always complimenting each other on the hat.
Yes, right. Yeah, I didn't want to compete with you.
I think it would have been fun. Dueling hats. We should probably do a follow-up episode where you come back with the hat specifically.
Yeah.
We'll see who can outdo who the hat. We can see who will outdo who with the hat. Maybe I can get one and put some tassels on it or something.
Yeah, I picked mine up in Australia when I was there. So it's more of an Australian
Nice.
kind of hat.
Yeah, nice. Where'd you go to in Australia?
Well, no, I was traveling with my wife about 5 years ago and said, Australia, it's a place everybody wants to go. I think if I was younger, that's probably where I would have ended up. When I finished high school, I was ready to go to Australia. Mm-hmm. But my father said, you know what? He was serving in Washington. He was a diplomat here. And so I ended up coming here to the States instead of going to Australia. So maybe I would have had a different accent, an Aussie accent.
Yeah. That would have been an adventure.
Yes, Australia is a nice place. There's so many nice places in the world. But I'm glad I'm here, and I'm here to do some work.
Yeah. Yeah, so out of all the places you could have gone to, you could have lived in, you chose this area in particular, which is the Exeter area.
Right. There's a reason I did that. My grandkids are here, in this area. And when I came here, I opened up the newspaper and I was reading the newsletter, mm-hmm. and there was an article about from the superintendent of schools saying, we do not have a diversity problem. And he was right. I mean, Exeter is homogeneous, very few other people of color. And so he had no diversity problem. But what he forgot to remember is our kids, after they graduate from high school, go out into the world. And that's when they face the diversity issues that we have today.
Yeah.
So my idea was, I've got to address it because my grandkids are here. And I need to educate them about a diverse world that they will be living in. Ergo, the Racial Unity Team. And that was after the killing in South Carolina where 9 people died in 2015. And I was a member of the Red Brick Church, the Baptist Church, and we had a memorial service. Several pastors came together to remember that time. And the following Sunday when I was sitting in the pews, I said, 9 people died? Got to do something more than a memorial service. And that was really the push to get an organization to educate people about. And working with Barbara Rinconus from the Historical Society, we came to understand that Exeter did have a diverse population. Whether it was the Native Americans, the African Americans late in the 1700s, or the Chinese Americans, they were all displaced. So we created a walk a mile for racial unity, and it was a Racial Unity Day, that we took people on a tour of the historical sites, getting them to understand why people left, which is the root cause for our issues. Once you understand the root cause, then you have a solution. So understanding why the Native Americans left, right? The rivers were polluted and their fishing grounds were lost and they left. the African Americans left as well. There was a bigger population of African Americans in Exeter in the early days of 1700s. But today, there's less than 1%. Why was that? They should have grown like the rest of the other population. So those are the, the foundation under which we started. And then, we had Racial Unity Day, we had, COVID struck, we had Zoom meetings to talk about different issues. Whether it was colorism, which is an issue that we face. The lighter skin you are, the higher stock you are, right? This is society. And trying to understand why that is, even within the blacks. The lighter skin you are, the better off you are. And that is a worldwide issue. I grew up in the Far East, and they have the same, people want to look as fair as possible. Because they get special privileges, I guess, which talks about what we have today, white privilege, right? Being a big issue. So all of that needed education. People had to understand what people were talking about. And from there, art and poetry, like you mentioned, the Arts in Action program that we do in the high schools. And in fact, recently, I got an email from Julia Lanter from the library saying, we would like to have a diversity program as well for libraries. And, we have a program we call Bookshelf Diversity, where we try to bring in diverse books into the schools. The libraries are having the same problem, where people don't want diverse books in the library. So we'll figure there's an opportunity to, help the libraries. We will start looking at how we want to implement something. So we look to the community to come to us with ideas, to tell us where the issues are, and we then address them. And that's how we've been surviving, really. Ideas have been coming from other people. The bookshelf diversity we brought into the high school was brought up by a junior in the high school saying we need to diversify the classroom bookshelves. And out of that, as an organization, we were able to raise funding to fund the project. And now we will be hosting it throughout the state. We'll be selecting one high school from each of the 5 districts that we have, political districts, where bookshelves in the library need to be made more diverse so people begin to understand. So here again, back to education being the reason for why we do what we do.
All right. Have you found, too, doing programs, have you found that Exeter's open? People are open-minded, they want to talk about it, they're interested, they're welcoming to...
Definitely. Most communities are open-minded. The ones we have to reach are the ones that are closed-minded, right? The majority of Exeter is open-minded. But I was talking to the Exeter Rotary recently, last week, and we talked about disappointments. What is my disappointment about Exeter? I have one, and that is, and it's been a historical issue here, that the students that go to Phillips Exeter, they appear not to be welcomed in the community. And this has been going on for years. It's not a recent issue. I've talked to people that have gone to Exeter High School in the 70s. And they talk about the harassment that the students face. I mean, this is not new. Exeter's history of excluding blacks, the first black student to enter Phillips Exeter was 17-something. 3 Southern boys decided that they would withdraw from the school because there was a black person in Exeter. We know what happened to the black person. He went on to Harvard and he got a degree from Harvard and and had a good history. I don't know what happened to the 3 white Southern boys that decided they had to withdraw from the school because there was a black person in the school. But the issue we face today is not many people don't realize that the students are being, harassed. During the pandemic, the Chinese students were really harassed, right? And I'm not going to mention the person who brought up names about the Chinese flu, but you know, it had spurred activity in the town that, you know, I myself have been harassed in town. I think I'm a good guy. I'm no troublemaker, you know, but it's education. It's education. And I think that, you know, the pockets of people in the town. 2 years ago, somebody contacted me, a neighbor, and said, you know, there was an issue of somebody trying to buy a house in Exeter. He happened to be black, a mixed couple rather. And the neighbor had told the real estate agent, when asked how is the neighborhood, which real estate agents usually ask, oh, this is a wonderful neighborhood, great for kids, you know, and all of that. Later on, he was talking to the black person. He said, oh, this is not a town you want to live in. The schools are terrible. You want to be in Epping. Now, you tell me, I did talk to that individual. He was from New York. He didn't choose to buy in Exeter, and he was looking at a house at the time that was almost $750,000. So I think he was well-to-do, right? He went someplace else. So it's these kinds of little incidents that, you know, we concentrate on. So to answer your question, no, Exeter is a welcoming city, but these little incidents are the ones that get publicized, and so you get a bad name. So we got to figure out the best way, and I still haven't figured out the solution of how to help the students. I've been working with the Principal Rowson, to try to figure out how we can make Exeter more welcoming so that the students are not feeling, you know, like outsiders.
And not just racially, but environmentally. Are you noticing now with what we're doing, that the town's been doing to help out with the Alewives and the Alewife Festival as well? The Alewife Festival, the Alewife Festival. Now that we're restoring the nurseries and taking out the dams.
Yeah. Oh, we sell it. We try to work with Indigenous Peoples Day on themes, right? Last year we talked about the water. This year we're going to be talking about the vegetation that existed and things like that. So yes, taking out the dam was definitely a positive thing, and we talked about it at last year's Indigenous Peoples Day. You can watch it on Exeter TV. They filmed the whole thing. Yes, it was a beautiful learning about the history of the dam and how the fish are coming back. So part of our process is to educate people, and we work with the Historical Society and the American Independence Museum and the library. They're all part of the coalition that we have come together to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day. So definitely was a good move. And I think that's what Dover is going through that process right now. We're trying to decide what to do with the dam in Dover. I'm not an expert on dams, but I like to see the fish come back, right?
Yeah.
So whatever you need to do it so the fish can come back and things can be, you know, not like they used to. Sometimes you have to move forward, right? So I'll let Dover solve its problem and let us know what the solution is. Once the environmentalists and the Native Americans come together and, you know, come up with a solution. It is definitely a community solution, and that's what happened in Exeter. You can learn more about us by going to our website, racialunityteam.com. Learn about the programs and things like that we have in there.
Cool. Thank you, Ken. And you heard it, Exeter. If you would like to be in the spotlight or recommend somebody, you can contact us at extvg@exeternh.gov. Thank you and have a great day.